Imagine you're a high-level film exec and Tom Cruise calls you up because he wants to play, no, needs to play the Green Arrow's arch-nemesis, the Dark Archer. But he's Tom Cruise, one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. He doesn't want to lower himself to playing a villain for a B-lister superhero. He wants to fight Batman instead. So you completely ignore his biggest rival and make a Dark Archer movie that leads to a forced crossover with bats. That's Blackadam. It's 2 hours long with the plot revolving around a magical crown whenever The Rock isn't punching people. Now, credit where credit is due. While the trailers made it seem like this was going to be an awful movie created with the sole purpose of stroking Dwayne's ego, it turned out to be only 2/3 of that assumption. It's still a vanity project, and it is a movie that exists. The biggest issues are some of the acting, dialogue, acting, plot, acting, villain, and acting. I don't want to trash this kid too much because he's only 14, but I also think you should ask your local representative to pass a bill making it illegal for him to act ever again. Sorry if that's mean, but I was in disbelief every time he opened his mouth, which he did way too much, but that's not his fault, it's more the writer's fault. The dialogue is just atrocious, which doesn't help with the mountain of exposition in the beginning or what was supposed to be the big uplifting rally towards the climax. You could have gotten Daniel Day-Lewis to walk around on his knees pretending to be 9, and he might have bombed just as badly as the kid they got. I hate the performance, I hate his character, and I hate that stupid skateboard he uses at the most unnecessary times. The villain is garbage too, but he's not in the movie nearly as much. Aside from those bad elements, which do make up most of the movie, there is some good to be found. Action is surprisingly coherent, the casting for the heroes was great, though the script is trash, they try their hardest, especially Pierce Brosnan, who brings a lot to Dr.Fate with the screen time he's given. And if you can get past the initial layer of no matter what, all I can see is The Rock in a suit, he has some pretty good scenes. But even with the good, I still believe Blackadam should have just been a villain in someone else's movie, because this one is aggressively mediocre. Now before I go into full spoilers, here's a quick little screenwriting tutorial inspired by Blackadam.
So here's what you're gonna need. An overweight middle-aged electrician, an archaeologist, and a bunch of garbage. Have the electrician and archaeologist pick up whatever they can from the floor and kill like 8 of the undead hell spawns. Be sure to like and subscribe for more screenwriting tips and tricks.
I'm still surprised at how well I could comprehend what was happening during the action scenes, especially when the big devil guy showed up. In the notes I took while watching below Arrow and above Ripperoni Dr.Fate, I wrote "Here we go with the CGI show," because I was bracing myself for another brawl surrounded by smoke and ash like the Doomsday and Ares climaxes in the other DC movies. But it didn't go that way, thank God. The other fight scenes had some fun, with the highlight being the JSA fight, but a lot of the action just felt like cinematic empty calories. The writing didn't make me feel invested, and the action wasn't good enough for me to love it on its own. And there is a lot of it, probably too much. It was structured like this. Flashback, modern Conduct Cave, action, characters try to escape, action, Adam talks to the kid, action, more action with the JSA, flashback 2, action, regroup, action, bad guy dies, flashback 3, Adam gives up, action, Adam is back, action, the end. I'd suggest cutting down on the action and focusing more on the characters to benefit the movie, but giving some of these characters more screen time would probably just make it worse. The CGI had some issues with characters being rubbery when flying, which is a big issue considering there's a lot of flying. And Atom Smasher just kinda looked off, especially his face whenever he was talking, it was just like a cartoon. But Hawkman and Dr. Fate looked great, probably because the gold texture was just really good. The main Blackadam theme was fine, but I can't remember anything else besides the popular music they put in but mixed way too loudly and started way too abruptly. I didn't care about the magic crown or villain's motivations because they were both boring and cliched. And word of advice to DC, if you want to reveal a twist about the main character's origins and make it have an impact, maybe, just maybe, don't give it away in the trailer that plays during every ad break on TV and YouTube. The trailers also kept talking about how he wasn't a hero, but he is. He kills, but he only kills bad guys that want to take over the world or suppress a nation. There isn't much to Blackadam aside from that twist that everyone knows, and repeating the same "I'm not a good guy" line before and after doing good things. I know Rock the Rock Roxon is like the biggest movie star ever, but if he really cared about Blackadam as a character instead of using him to play out his fantasy of being more stacked than Superman and blowing up tanks or whatever, he would just be in a Shazam movie. John the John Johnson isn't even the best thing in his own vanity project. It's Pierce Brosnan. And it sucks that they're killing him off in the first movie because he was fantastic. The costume was great, and the line about him having one foot in the future and not seeing anything for the first time was really nice. And it would have worked a lot better if we knew him for more than 25 minutes in a bad movie where I started to check out when I heard a kid start narrating. Done! So that's the video. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see anything in the future, be sure to subscribe here and or follow me on Twitter for updates. Later.